A 35-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the Table Mountain fire. A case of arson has been opened. The man is believed to have been living in the bush. Cape Town's Mayoral Committee member for Safety and Security, JP Smith, told us more.
Last night we had, when the firefighters were busy trying to control that fire break between the Rhodes Memorial side and the developments on the edge of Devil's Peak, the High Cape and so forth, there were multiple residents who in quick succession contacted me in the emergency centres, the neighbourhood watchers, to say that they were watching three men moving through the bush, starting new fires. And I mean, it was almost incredulous. My first thing was to ask residents, are you sure it's not just the fire spotting? They said, no, we're seeing men. So we got all of traffic, law enforcement and Metro Police to go and see if they could find these individuals in the bush. And that is in fact then what happened. A resident from the area, Mr. Yazid Evans, then found one of these individuals, or a man standing right next to a fire. Law enforcement officer arrived on the scene, assisted in arresting that individual, and he is currently in custody with SAPS. A case has been opened of arson, and affidavits have been obtained from the residents and the officers.
Can you provide a bit more detail with regards to this individual? Has he offended previously?
It's not much is known about him at this stage. He's in his 30s, and when he was asked for an address, he indicated that he sleeps in the bush. And so it is possible that that was an accidental fire that he started for cooking purposes, but he was busy with a second smaller fire, and when asked about it, he admitted that he started the fire. He was asked about if he started the big fire or this one. It seemed to indicate that he took responsibility for the bigger fire. So it is hard to say what his state of mind is as well, and I think that will now be the subject of the criminal investigation.
Right, let's find out what's happening with those fires now in Cape Town. Ronald Masinda has been watching it for us. Ronald, good morning once again. We understand now the latest developments is that some schools have been affected.
Yes, indeed, Yuveka. Well, the strong smoke is really proving to be unbearable at the moment, as at least 4 schools here in the Zonneblom area have been closed. We've seen several children being escorted by their parents leaving school early. We're going to be speaking to a couple of principals. I want to start off with you, Heather. Thank you so much for your time. Heather, explain to us what has taken place here.
Well, this morning the fire that was at UCT and on that side of the mountain has moved across overnight. And it's jumped across the Vaal Drive, and it's now in this warmer estate area. And because of the thick smoke and the dense cloud, learners with asthma, teachers with asthma, anybody, I mean, as you're standing here yourselves, you can feel your eyes tearing. The smoke, the fire department has come in, they evacuated everybody, and all the learners have had to go home. The problem is, because we are a commuter school, our learners are not close by. So for the parents to come and collect them, it's been difficult. It's not so bad for us because we're a high school, and being high school, our kids can get themselves away. You just have to move them on their way. But there's ash everywhere. There's smoke everywhere.
Heather, before I let you go, how many kids are affected at your school, and perhaps do you know at this stage as to when classes could resume?
We have no idea when classes would resume. I'm hoping the fire will be put out during the course of the morning, and we can come back tomorrow, but there's a mess inside there. There's ash everywhere. It gets in the little places. We have 397 high school learners with us. They fortunately were not all at school today. It was just our 60 grade 12s and then 2 other grades that were here. So about half of that number have been affected today, but we will have to keep in touch and see what the rest of the week holds.
Thank you very much indeed. That was Heather Kalmeyer. She is the principal at Zonneblom Nest. We'll be speaking to another principal now. Thank you so much for your time. In terms of your school itself, describe for us the scenes that you witnessed earlier.
Well, when we got here this morning, the smoke wasn't too thick, and then within half an hour, the Vaal Drive was thick, covered in smoke. The smoke then seeped into the buildings, and the fire just escalated from there. The wind has been absolutely terrible today, and is not helping this fire at all.
And in terms of, since you're a principal, have you had any word with the Western Cape Education Department with regards to this matter?
Today, no.
And just lastly, how many kids are affected, And as Heather mentioned, quite a lot of kids live far and wide. Just describe for us the impact with regards to them being transported from the school.
Yes, so today obviously most of our kids are, they live in the township areas. We are commuter school, and parents had to be contacted. They had to then leave work or home and come and fetch those kids. The traffic coming into town has also been a nightmare, with the M3 closed and many of the other roads closed. And as you can see, some of the residents of the Walmer Estate area are also being evacuated as we speak.
Leanne, thank you so much for your time. That was Leanne Lenders. She is the school principal at Zonnebloem Girls Primary School. And as we heard, Uveka, this is the last thing that the school year needs at this stage, given that it has been badly impacted also by COVID-19 last year, and with many learners missing, or pupils missing quite a number of classes since last year and perhaps also earlier this year.
Ronald Masinda, thanks very much for that. That's what's happening. The schools affected now, a couple of them by the smoke that's blanketing that area. He'll continue to keep an eye on it for us. The other development, of course, is the arrest of that 35-year-old man believed to have been living in the bushes there in connection with this fire.